Welcome to the Iron Beginner Lecture Series. Over the next 12 videos, I'm going to teach you everything you need to build muscle in your first 84 days of training. This isn't a workout you follow blindly. This is an education. By the end of this series, you won't just know what to do, you'll understand why you're doing it. Today's lecture covers three things. First, the single biggest mistake beginners make and why it destroys their results. Second, the three biological requirements for muscle growth, explained in simple terms. And third, why you have a 12-month window of opportunity that you cannot afford to waste. Let's begin. Let's start with the pattern problem. Why do random workouts and random exercises feel exciting but almost never work? Why your body needs a clear, repeating structure to actually build muscle. If you wanted to learn Spanish, would you open a dictionary, read random words, and expect to speak fluently? Of course not. That makes no sense. Yet this is exactly how most beginners approach building muscle. They do random workouts. Monday, they see a chest workout on Instagram and try it. Wednesday, they feel like doing arms. Friday, a friend tells them about a new leg routine. Their training has no pattern, no progression, no structure. Here's what you need to understand. Your body is an adaptation machine, but it only adapts to patterns, not randomness. When you apply the same stress repeatedly with gradually increasing intensity, your body recognizes this pattern. It says, the stress keeps coming back and it's getting harder. I need to adapt. I need to build stronger, bigger muscles to handle this demand. But when the stress is random, sometimes heavy, sometimes light, sometimes frequent, sometimes not, your body has no clear signal. It doesn't know what to adapt to, so it does nothing. This is why someone who follows a structured 12-week program will gain more muscle than someone who trains randomly for 6 months. Structure beats effort every single time. Structure means three things. First, consistent exercises. You don't need 50 different exercises. You need 10 to 15 fundamental movements performed consistently every week. Your body learns these patterns and gets better at them. Second, progressive overload. This means systematically increasing the challenge. Maybe you add 1 more repetition this week. Maybe you add 5 pounds next week. Small increases, applied consistently, create massive results over time. Third, plan recovery. Your muscles don't grow in the gym. They grow during rest. Structure means training each muscle group 2 to 3 times per week with adequate recovery between sessions, not training randomly whenever you feel like it. The Iron Beginner program gives you all three. Every workout is planned. Every progression is mapped out. Every recovery day is scheduled. Nothing is random. Now, let's talk about how muscle actually grows. There are 3 biological triggers your muscles need to get bigger. The first trigger is mechanical tension. This is just a fancy way of saying you need to lift heavy enough weight. When you pick up a dumbbell and curl it, your muscle fibers generate force to move that weight. This creates tension along the length of the muscle. That tension activates sensors inside your muscle cells that detect physical stress. These sensors send a signal saying, we're under stress. We need to build more muscle protein to handle this load. But here's the important part. Heavy enough doesn't mean maximum. For beginners, 65 to 75% of your maximum strength is perfect. That translates to a weight you can lift for 8 to 12 repetitions with good form. Also, the way you lift matters. When you lower the weight slowly, taking about 3 seconds, you create more tension than if you just drop it fast. The second trigger is metabolic stress. You know that burning sensation you feel during your last few repetitions? That's metabolic stress, and it's one of the most powerful muscle builders. Here's what's happening. When you do multiple repetitions, your muscle contracts over and over. Each contraction squeezes your blood vessels, restricting blood flow. Blood gets trapped inside the muscle. This trapped blood creates a buildup of waste products, lactate, hydrogen ions, and other metabolites. Your muscle cells start swelling with fluid to dilute these waste products. Now, Your body interprets this swelling as a signal. It thinks this muscle is filling up. It needs to get bigger to handle this stress. Plus, recent research shows that lactate itself is a growth signal. It wakes up dormant stem cells in your muscles. This is why moderate weight for higher repetitions, 10 to 12 reps with short rest periods of 60 to 90 seconds, works so well. You're creating maximum metabolic stress. The burn you feel isn't just discomfort. It's your muscles literally bathing in growth-promoting chemicals. The third trigger is muscle damage. This sounds bad, but I'm talking about good damage. Microscopic tears at the cellular level. When you lift weights, especially when you lower them slowly, you create tiny tears in your muscle fibers. These are so small you can't see them, but they're significant enough to trigger a repair process. Your body detects this damage and sends immune cells to clean up the damaged proteins. At the same time, stem cells activate and multiply. They fuse with your damaged muscle fibers, donating their genetic material. And here's the beautiful part. Your body doesn't just repair back to the original state. It overcompensates. It builds slightly more muscle than was there before. This is called supercompensation. But, and this is critical, too much damage is counterproductive. If you completely destroy your muscles, you'll be so sore you can't train again for a week. Your body spends all its resources just repairing damage instead of building new muscle. This is why the Iron Beginner program starts conservatively. Now, I need to tell you about something most beginners don't realize. You have a superpower right now, but it only lasts about 12 months. As a complete beginner, your body responds to resistance training faster than any other population. You can gain muscle 2 to 3 times faster than someone who's been training for 5 years. A beginner can build 2 to 4 pounds of pure muscle per month under optimal conditions. An advanced lifter, maybe half a pound to 1 pound per month. Your potential right now is extraordinary. But these advantages disappear after your first year of proper training. This is why the next 84 days are so critical. If you waste them doing random workouts, you miss the window when your body is most responsive. In our next lecture, we're going to dive deeper into progressive overload, the single most important principle for continuous muscle growth. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in Lecture 2.